Yo, what is going on, guys? Troy Addison here, Superhuman You. And in tonight's video, I'm gonna share with you my 45-day fat loss transformation. So I was able to go from 205 pounds to 192 pounds while maintaining my strength and actually bringing up my strength in several compound lifts. So how do you lose 13 pounds of body fat in less than 2 months while maintaining your strength, keeping all of your lean muscle mass?
You ain't got no gains. You ain't lift no weights.
We're gonna go over the 6 things that I did in tonight's video. And by the way, I'm actually on top of my Airbnb spot right now, so I rented it out. I wanted to pick an epic location precisely to film some videos. I'm going to a couple fitness events this weekend. Definitely stay tuned because I'm gonna share some epic footage from those events. So tip number 1 of 6 is 10x9 compound progressive overload strength. What in the world does this mean? So this means that over the last 45 days, 45 days, basically this was, just say it was a 7-week transformation. So we'll round up to 49 days. So over the last 7 weeks, what I've done is I have a workout journal and I go on a week-by-week basis. And every single week, I write down the 9 most important compound exercises and I keep track of my strength for 10 sets. So I'm tracking 90 sets per week of my compound lifts. So as you start dieting, you're shredding, you're losing body fat, you start looking more ripped, what happens with most guys is they start to lose intensity in the gym and they start to lose strength in the gym. So by tracking all of your compound lifts, for instance, if you're not losing strength, you're definitely not losing muscle mass in like 95% of the scenarios. So for instance, on the squat, the bench press, heavy barbell rowing exercises, the deadlift, having careful tracking of all of these compound lifts is so crucial to really take your physique to the next level. So I actually was watching a video of Brandon Carter a couple of years ago and he kept a big stack of every single one of his workouts, his diets, his water consumption. Keeping track of your lifts I think is even more important when you're shredding than even when you're bulking, because if you can maintain your strength and have the exact same compound strength as you do at say like 10 or 15 pounds lighter, you just completely change your physique. So I was really happy that I was able to maintain my squat strength. So I'm squatting the same weight that I did at 205 pounds and 192 pounds. So my weight to strength ratio is much, much better in only 45 days. Now, what are the 9 compound lifts that I want you guys to track? So right now, write this down. Go to Walmart, go to Target, go to wherever you want. Buy a little composition notebook and write down these 9 exercises and keep track of your strength on all of these week by week. So literally, before you go on the squat rack, say you do 275 pounds for 5 repetitions the workout before. The next week, when you're 2 pounds lighter, you're a little bit more shredded, I want you to know that number in your head right before you hit the squat rack. And I want you with 110% intensity, like you're the fucking Terminator, like you wake up and you just like woke up in the Rock's body. I want you to put all of your energy and emotion and intensity and aggression on at least hitting 5 reps again, or even better yet, try to hit 6 reps. So having the mindset where you're actually trying to get stronger as you're shredding is a game changer for a complete aesthetic transformation. So here are the 9 exercises, some form of an incline press, so it could be incline bench with the dumbbell or barbell, some form of flat press, an overhead press, a squat, it could be front squat, it could be any variation of a squat, just 10 total sets every week, deadlift, lunges, some form of an isolated row. So what I mean by this is a dumbbell row, such as like dumbbell one-arm row or even dumbbell shrugs, a barbell pull, and a pull-up variation. So it could be underhand grip pull-ups, it could be wide grip, close grip pull-ups, just some form of a pull-up variation. Ideally, you want to add some resistance, so put a weight between your feet or wear a weight chain, weight belt. So compound progressive overload 10x9, tip number 1 of 6. All right guys, so tip number 2, I call it macros on fleek. And a lot of guys get caught up in tracking their macros day by day and getting really emotional if they like hit, under their macros, over their macros. All that matters, I want you to put all of your energy on hitting your weekly averages. So figure out your maintenance calories, I'll throw a link in the description to another video where you can figure that out. So figure out your maintenance calories. Be about, I was about 500 calories under my maintenance level for the entire time, because as you're about to see, we're gonna create a few more caloric deficits in strategic ways with the other tips. So I was about 500 under my caloric maintenance level. And what I did is, so my average weekly macros over the 45-day transformation was 205 grams of protein, 225 grams carbs, and 60 grams of fat. And I'm sorry guys, I have some notes in my phone. I have so much that I want to cover in this video that is so crucial for you guys having an epic, fast fat loss transformation. I just want to make sure I don't forget everything. So those are my average weekly macros, and the reason that I keep my fat somewhat low is fat is 9 calories per gram, and I just noticed that when I'm trying to even follow more of a low carb diet, I'm eating a lot of almond butter, I'm eating a lot of avocado, and when I look back at like the total calories for the day, it's really tough for me to stay at like 22, 23, 2400 range. Like, I'm addicted to almond butter, I'm addicted to putting avocado and a lot of guacamole and things like that on my food. And like a whole avocado is like 350 calories, a couple, like it's really tough for me just to eat 2 tablespoons of almond butter, and I'm already at 200 calories with 2 tablespoons of almond butter, where on the contrary, I can eat a big cup of rice and that's only about 150, 160 grams of, excuse me, 150, 160 calories, about 45 grams of carbs. Another thing too, if you want to maintain all your muscle mass on a fast fat loss diet, you need some glycogen to fuel workout intensity and to preserve your lean muscle mass. Insulin is the most anabolic thing in your body. So for my body type, I can't speak for every single one of you guys because everybody varies a little bit, but for my body type, I do a lot better when I drop my fat intake and keep my carbs at around like 1 to 1.25 grams per pound of body weight. And I noticed a lot of the physique competitors do that as well. Like I checked out what Christian Guzman did for his macros for his like summer shredding in his competition, pretty much right around the same thing. He dropped his fat and he kept his carbs right around 215 to 250 range for the entire duration, up until like where he was getting super cut the last couple weeks. And another thing too, Google the menu and nutrition before you go out to eat. Like, I literally know the exact macros of my Chipotle meal by now. If you're going out to, even if say like you have a bunch of friends and you're at McDonald's, you're gonna order McDonald's, just go online and look at the menu and have a rough idea of the macros that you're eating. I cannot tell you how many calories this is gonna save you. Like, one time I was at Cheesecake Factory and I was gonna order, like, it was like the Thai bang, it was like bang bang chicken and shrimp, and I look at the menu and it had like 1400 calories. So I was like, holy shit, like obviously there's a bunch of fat that I didn't account for, like in the sauce and just like the whole dish. Like, I don't know what the hell they put in that thing, but it was like 1400 total calories. So just looking at the menu and the nutrition online at like any mainstream place, pretty much every place has this stuff online, it's gonna save you a ton of calories. And then just don't get caught up in, for instance, if one day, I remember this, like there's a few days on my 45-day transformation where I really fucked up. Like one day I was at like 3,300 calories. So just knowing that, I was like, you know what, it doesn't matter. It's all about the weekly average. So the next 2 days was like the most perfect days of eating I've ever had in my life, and it was so easy for me to do it because psychologically, I felt bad. Like I fucked up. I need to make sure that I'm way under for a couple days. So I had like back-to-back days where I was at 1,800 calories, and it was really easy for me to get to that number just because psychologically, I binge on the foods that I was craving. I had like sushi, I had like some pad thai, I forget what I ate on my really high calorie days, but psychologically it was really easy for me to stay on track for a couple days after that. And then I look back at the 7-day average and I was right on point even though I binged one day. Tip number 3 of 6, I took 5 daily fat burners, but most of these are gonna surprise you. You probably haven't even thought of these as fat burners, but I just had like a little checklist of things I put in my body that I consider powerful fat burners that I made sure every single day of the 45 days I took these. Number 1 is apple cider vinegar 2 times per day. It works best if you have it after your highest carb or highest meal of the day, like highest calorie meal of the day. Apple cider vinegar is amazing. I almost want to make a complete separate video of it, but I just feel like it's kind of like boring to have like a complete video by itself. But apple cider vinegar is amazing. It has a ton of health benefits. Just go on Google and go on YouTube, and there's a bunch of health experts that have broken down all the benefits. But what it does is it lowers your insulin, it lowers your blood sugar, helps your body digest your food. And I noticed that after a big meal, I have more energy if I have some organic apple cider vinegar. So 2 times per day, I'll just take like some chugs, some big swigs out of the bottle, and then 2 times per day, I will have either green tea or coffee with cinnamon. I noticed that I don't like to drink coffee every single day, so I'll drink plain black coffee with cinnamon, and on the days that I wasn't drinking coffee, I was drinking green tea. I love matcha green tea. I'm a huge fan of green tea. It's got this ingredient called L-theanine. It helps your body adapt to cortisol and stress. So obviously when you're dieting, you're pumping caffeine in your body. You need some ways to deal with that so your cortisol levels don't get out of control, because obviously that's going to be detrimental to your fat loss progress. So green tea and coffee, if you drink coffee, I highly recommend you also incorporate green tea into your diet. Now, next up, carbonated water. So I would get these little flavored carbonated water things, like they make black cherry and orange, and they have no artificial sweetener. They're all naturally flavored. They have 0 calories. So drinking carbonated water between meals, what it allows you to do is just stave off your hunger a little bit. So you're gonna find that you're not really as hungry between meals. That carbonation, especially if you do coffee and carbonated water on the same day, you're gonna notice that you're much more full between meals, and it's much easier to go for longer periods of time without eating. And then next up is branched chain amino acids, especially when I did some fasted cardio and some cardio workouts that I'm gonna get into in another tip. Branched chain amino acids were really important, just to making sure that the right amount of like amino acids were in my system. I wasn't going catabolic, I wasn't losing muscle mass even though I was on a caloric deficit, and I also drank them intra-workout. And then last but not least, obviously, I just created the Master Shredder 24-hour fat loss stack to be the most powerful fat loss stack on the market. So obviously I'm of course taking the own products that I put a ton of time and research into creating. So I'll throw a link to that in the description below if you guys want to check it out. But basically, I took the Alpha Shredder in the morning before breakfast. Also, once in a while, we'll take it in the afternoon for 2 servings in one day. And then I took the Alpha Dreams at night just to give my body, you know, ZMA and help my body adapt to a lot of the caffeine and the pre-workout that I was taking while I was shredding. And then also to give my body all the other electrolytes and minerals that I needed to recover optimally. So I took, just a quick recap, apple cider vinegar 2 times a day, green tea or coffee, one or the other, 2 servings per day. I did my carbonated water, I drank my branched chain amino acids, and I took the Master Shredder stack. So those are the 5 daily fat burners that I took every single day of the 45-day transformation. So tip number 4 or 6, I was most excited to share this one with you guys, is I call it your depressed friend with a 6-pack. So what I mean by this is, it is all about who you surround yourself with. If you're trying to get a 6-pack abs, you're trying to get shredded, imagine how powerful it would be if you're around someone all the time who is so fit and so ripped that they are depressed if all they had was 6-pack abs. Like, I'm talking like the crazy guys you see on social media, like guys with like world-class physiques. Like, just being around people who are so fit like that, if you're trying to, like, for instance, if my goal is to be an NBA basketball player, what's gonna give me a better chance to succeed? If I'm around LeBron James every day, or if I'm around my fat cousin who's lazy and hates basketball? Like, come on guys, it's common sense, but it has to be said. When you're trying to go for a radical transformation, it's very challenging. Obviously, there's gonna be mental, there's gonna be physical barriers, and you gotta be really careful who you surround yourself with. So, you know, I'm not saying like eliminate people out of your life, eliminate friends, but I'm saying that if you're on this health kick, you have this like really lofty goal of fitness, and you're always around your friends who are overweight, who are getting drunk all the time, who are doing drugs, who are making bad decisions, who are going to Taco Bell and McDonald's, you know, the late hours of the night, it's gonna be very tough for you to succeed. So if you happen to just like be acquaintances with somebody who's really fit, you know, make an effort to maybe get to know them better. Maybe see if you can work out with them one day. Even if it's just like on social media and YouTube, try to watch people, you know, obviously, hopefully like I'm one of these people for you, and try to follow people on Instagram and YouTube who have great physiques, who like when you watch their workouts, when you watch their videos, you're like, holy shit, like they're 10 years ahead of where I wanna be, but they motivate me to take my life and my fitness to the next level. So that's what I mean by your depressed friend with a 6-pack. Is, you know, find that one person who's so fit, who's like 10 years ahead of where you want to be, and the more that you're around that type of person, the faster you are going to succeed. Because I know, like, I used to play basketball. I wanted to be an NBA basketball player. I was training at a sports academy. I played in college, and I noticed that whenever I surrounded myself with really elite players, like my game rose to a whole nother level that I didn't even know was humanly possible. Like when I was playing, guys, when I was a senior in high school, I'd be in these pickup games, and I would play with guys who were Division I scholarship guys to like Kentucky and Duke, North Carolina, and I would reach a level that I didn't even know was humanly possible, where there are times when I was playing down to my competition, and I was around shitty players, and I was just like, oh my god, I played terrible that day. So just find people who are a little bit better than you, who are even like 5-10 years ahead of where you want to be, and you guys are going to have massive success on your fat loss transformation. So tip number 5 of 6 is cardio deficit. Now remember, not only are we talking about a epic fat loss transformation in this video, we're talking about maintaining all of our lean muscle mass. So food is the most anabolic thing in your body. So if you're trying to keep all of your lean muscle mass and you're trying to burn fat really rapidly, the dumbest thing that you could do is starve yourself. So you need to create a caloric deficit not only from your diet, but also your workouts and your cardio. So the best way, in my opinion, to create a caloric deficit for a great fat loss transformation is gonna be a combination of fasted cardio a few times per week. Not because there's a bunch of scientific evidence that points to you burning way more fat when you're fasted. I just think it gets you in the right mind, and it gets you like, when you just wake up and commit to doing cardio without eating anything, you just like, you're gonna make better decisions all day with your diet, because you're like, you know what, like I got out of bed early, I did cardio, I didn't even eat anything before I did cardio. You're not gonna reach for that like piece of cheesecake, you're not gonna binge on food late at night when you're going through all that effort. So that's why I'm a big fan of fasted cardio. I did fasted cardio about 3 to 4 times per week. Next up is high intensity interval training. In fact, my upload from yesterday, I posted my 4-minute HIIT workout. Now, just simply doing sprint intervals is such an amazing way to burn fat and maintain your muscle mass, because it boosts your HGH, it boosts your testosterone, it boosts your metabolism post-exercise, and it's very short and efficient. Just doing 4 to 8 minute HIIT workouts a couple times a week is all you need to do to have amazing results over just like 45 to 60 total days. So quick recap, I did HIIT 2 to 3 times per week, and I did fasted cardio 3 to 4 times per week. So I was doing cardio about 5-6 times per week on top of all the compound exercises and the weight room work that I talked about. Tip number 6 of 6, and by the way, this is the home of James Harden. The Toyota Center is right behind me. I'm in downtown Houston right now. Thought that was pretty cool. I'm a huge James Harden fan, but was very heartbroken when he left to go to the Houston Rockets. But tip number 6 of 6, and I shared this in another video, my one trick to burn fat in your sleep, is I did an isometric and resistance band and ab routine almost every single night of the 45-day transformation. So whatever muscle group that I was working out that day, say I was doing a pull workout, I did isometric holds on my back, and then I would do sometimes a little resistance band work, and once in a while I'll do some abdominal work. So just 5 to 10 minutes just to boost the lactic acid threshold right before I go to sleep, in combination with keeping my insulin levels really low late at night, which is technically the 7th thing that I did, but it's not part of the video. But that's another thing that I did. So keeping insulin low at night, doing isometrics, doing resistance band work, a great way to...
Troy! You ain't got no gains. You ain't lift no weights.